What's good, everybody? We're about to talk about some real ish. I told y'all yesterday I was going to address NBA Youngboy, a 17-year-old out of Baton Rouge, Kendrell Golden. You know what I mean? He was never broke again. This is a youngin' on the come up that actually had hits and things that had the public in an uproar, and it's crazy because now he's being implicated in a drive-by shooting that occurred in Baton Rouge, in which two men, as far as I know, were injured. And I don't know to the severity. My assumption is that it could be either death in an alleged nature, because he's being charged with murder. And it's crazy how we see somebody who was about to be on top of the world is now dealing with keeping his freedom. And they caught him when he was headed to a performance in Austin, Texas, which is crazy because that's how you know they were hunting for him for the shooting, because they actually traveled to the state he was going to do a show to bring him back home for it. So we know that there's some substantial evidence that they have to put against him to put him there at that time doing it. Otherwise, his lawyers proved, because they wouldn't have traveled to go get him. They would have waited till it was convenient for them, but it was of urgency, because if anybody knows anything, 48 Hours, a very famous show on TV, that's absolutely how they do murder investigations. So they had evidence that led them to this star being implicated, and that's why they made the move through ATF to go and get him. So it's pretty crazy. And today, I'm not going to go into detail on NBA Youngboy. I don't really know him like that. I listened to a few songs, and beforehand of this incident. And the one thing that I want to talk about most definitely, and this is to celebrities, so you know what I mean, I'm not sure how many celebrities actually tune in to what I broadcast. Could be zero, could be all 41 of the individuals that I rock with right now that check daily on my information. And the one thing that celebrities got to remember is that you got to maintain your celebrity status. So many dudes are trying to prove that they're real and that they're out here in the field, and they're forgetting that they're in a world of stardom. So once you've attained that stardom, you got to move like a star. You can't move like that dude off the corner anymore. I don't care how much drama you were been through or how many shots you let off. At some point, you got to refine yourself to become that young man or that young woman you're truly trying to be. I mean, you can't be a savage forever. Nobody's trying to see a 60-year-old savage. Like, yeah, it'll be good for kicks and laughs and to say, oh, he was savage all his life, but you got stardom to reach. You got millions of fans to please. You can't be making no mistakes like that. You know what I mean? Even if you got drama or beef with someone, leave town if you got the money. It's not even about who's hard or who's not. It's about preserving your worth. Like right now, NBA Youngboy has a net worth. If you put in Zara Allright's reserved net worth, you wouldn't catch no net worth. But if I put in NBA Youngboy net worth, you're going to get a number. And that's the importance. That's what it's all about. That's the whole purpose of your grind, to come out of what you were in, to show your net worth and to show your worth more than anything anyone can imagine. That's the purpose of being a star and sitting in that stardom. And it's messed up now, because in order for him to get back to his stardom, just like Bobby Shmurda, now he's going to have to dance, jive, boogie, and do whatever to prove his innocence. And that's the thing. Like, you were in a position to capitalize on everything. Now your innocence is in the balance, and it's just a painful thing to see a young star, a young boy that's around 17, that was about to hit his prime in the rap game, face these issues. Now it's not going to be hitting his prime with a smooth sailing without going through the drama. So dang, man, and that's one thing I want stars to keep in mind, or upcoming rappers. Like, if you're going to rap about a certain thing, it is very best you live it, but at what cost? At what cost? The cost of your millions? The cost of whatever you're doing? You know what I mean? You should just be in the studio making music. If you've done what you've done, it's time to move on. And that's the thing. It's almost like that that girl you could never get over in high school, it's time to move on. No matter how much you liked her, no matter how much that happened or what's going on, you got to move on to where you need to be, because you're not in high school no more. It's a bigger field. You're playing for keeps. And that's the thing. You're playing for keeps when you're out here in the field of stardom, just like the field where you go to war at. So now, you're on the radar with these policemen that got you dead to rights with some type of evidence. You're going to have to dance, boogie, and jive to prove against in their eyes. One thing I want people to keep in mind, authority figures such as policemen have way more power in a case than you think. It's not just they bring you to the courtroom and let the judge do the work. Literally, their testimonies and things they say and feel go into account when the judge is making a decision, let alone when they're giving their thoughts on your character that help produce the criminal they want to show. So there needs to be more emphasis in your mind on the fact that, well, I'd rather be real enough to make this money and not be in the courtroom than real enough to be seen in everyone's eyes as that dude. Because it comes to a point in time where the money supersedes anything anyone's saying. There gets to a point in time where the money's too much to even care what somebody has to say about your character and who you are. And that's something I want to point out to him. Like, yo, NBA Youngboy, you got too much to prove out here as an artist and less to prove as a gangbanger or some type of gang affiliate or one of the realists out here. Just alleging that that's something he does, because it's not even proven that he's the guy who did this murder, but they're trying to convict him of it. You know what I mean? So I don't really know how it's going to turn out, because we also know that old adage, stop snitching, and the fact that if someone else did the shooting and he was there, he's not telling on them. It's his boys. So it gets a little bit deeper. It's like, what actually are you going to do to not only prove your innocence, but in a sense, gain that prosperity that you were on the road to? Because now there's a blockade and there's some type of barricade you have to power through. And I'm saying that to encourage them, because I know as young black men that we don't always grow up in an environment that's built to help us become the men we need to be. And that's something that needs to be taken into account. I see a lot of individuals say, well, why can't he do that? Why can't he be that? Coming from that environment. I did it. He did it. They did it. You know what I mean? And I would agree. I feel, since I'm an educated individual coming from the environment, I was able to be successful. And I can't take that and hold that as a judge against other people, because we don't know other people's home life. People could have had an abusive mother, abusive father not there. All types of things, been molested, had been violated as men, just had all types of struggles in their life, not only with the hood life that they live. So there's no way to tell, hey, you shouldn't have been in that situation, or you shouldn't be around it, if they lived their life in it since growing up and they never had a handout or anyone's handout to help them up. So they made their own way. So that's why I respect that. But at the end of the day, we got to make sure that we keep it real with them and let them know, hey, just because you had to grow up that way, now you got bigger and better things ahead of you. And that's the job of them friends around. If you're a friend around an MC, let them know what they're worth if you really care about them as your friend. Let them know, hey, we got bigger fish to fry. You'll let that go. Don't worry about that. It's about your friends and your surroundings. Those people around you should be letting you know what you're worth, instead of watching you do the crime and then laughing like you ain't going to be worth a couple mil and they just shit away their meal ticket. So that's my thing. Like, it's about that person's worth, not what the situation is. So any real friends around any MCs or artists on the come up, keep it real with them. Be respectful to them. Let them know what they're worth. If they're your boy, if they're really your homie, let them know the real. Be like, yo, don't be messing around out here. Get back in that studio and get us out of here. Like, stop playing with them. Stop playing with their future. And if you're an MC on the come up, stop playing with your own future. You got bigger things to do. You got better goals to make. It's not just about the groupies and the show money. It's about your integrity, your legacy. What are you leaving behind? What is the fans going to say when you're gone? You know what I mean? And when you're down in prison, you don't have time to make a legacy. You're too worried about watching your back in there because you got to watch it for real, for real. So my thing is, yo, everybody who's around these MCs and encouraging them to do things, how about you encourage them to be better artists? How about you encourage them to be better people so that they're able to accomplish everything they need to? It's time for us to make a better image as black MCs, especially, because that image out there about the hardcore MCs and stuff, too many people getting locked up. It's too much going on to be having a mess. And it's too much going on with racism in America that's been suppressed for years and years and decades for you to mess around like that. Everybody's playing around like this ain't real life. Like, yo, don't play around with your life, especially when you got something better to do and you got something you can do that no one else can. So it's time for people to start respecting their talents and respecting who they are. Come on, man. Y'all guys got this. Life's too short for us to be making decisions like that, especially when you're about to do something that a million and millions and millions of people around the world aim to do or wish they can do. So there's not too much to say other than that. You know, I just keep it real and all rights reserved. And I'm looking for NBA Youngboy to get past this, to get back on that microphone, get back in the booth. And this time, no interruptions, no interruptions. When you're in that booth, ain't no interruptions. You're doing your thing and you're knocking out them 16s. It's time for MCs to get back on the grind the way we're supposed to, and the media to stay out of the limelight and music to be the only thing rocking. Because this social media stuff is really killing MCs' careers, and that needs to stop. Especially when they got so much ahead of them. Shout to Baton Rouge and everybody down there. And let's just look to see what's going to happen. You know, like, share, subscribe, and always rock with me. Always daily content. All rights reserved.